question is marriage in today's society a realistic expectation for a young, independent, beautiful black woman?
Yes.
See,
no, no, it's not. You know why? You said one word that's a red flag in that whole sentence. You know what it is? What is it?
Independent.
Yeah, everything else was all right. You know what I'm saying? A lot of our sisters, yeah, y'all beautiful. That's why I married one of y'all. Yep, y'all beautiful. Oh. Y'all strong. Y'all smart. Y'all are a lot of things. That independent part, though, that's going to a lot of y'all. There's certain dudes that will take the independent part and will deal with the headache of dealing with you in their home. Men are getting more and more in the position where they just not really beat for you to steal in their peace.
Thanks, but no thanks.
That is literally the end of it.
Yep.
Like, that's the whole thing. All of the arguing, all of the back and forth, the whatever podcast, the Fresh and Fit podcast, Mediocre Tutorials and Reviews, Poor Man Podcast Reacts, all of these people that are online, all of these red pill and red pill adjacent people that are putting out all of these narratives out there. The end of the argument is men are not willing for you to steal their peace. It is literally one of the most important things that you can give them. And you cannot give them peace if you don't respect them. If you do not respect your man, you do not give him peace, he don't want you. Not long term.
Nope.
Like, he wants you. He see you, he'll lust after you. He'll think you fine. He'll think you even cool. He'll think you fun. But then it'll be that one time when you say something to him and you talk to him like he's your child. Done. For years, women have been saying that men are not men like they used to be.
Yep.
Well, they getting back to that. And part of them getting back to that is they not going to take your lip and all your extra.
Yep.
Is what it is. Now, you do have a lot of men who are like feminists and believe that women can do no wrong and will allow them to do anything.
that's true.
Yes.
See,
Yes, absolutely.
I just have a problem with the identification
He didn't like
of
the
independent. I just have a problem with it.
Like, I was rocking with you. You was talking about the marriage being the expectations until you start turning it into a young, independent woman. Like,
The reason why I'm saying independent is because I've been able to provide my, my lifestyle for
Why was
myself.
this an issue?
And I feel like every man that I pretty much have can't have.
No, you don't
come
have to
across,
represent differently.
They have a
independent
problem
woman.
with me being a full-time boss, right? I work for myself. I make my own hours, but I work a lot. And a lot of men have a problem with that. There's some kind of like ego issue. Oh, she's working. Oh, she doesn't have time for me. No, but my job right now is priority. My life is priority, and I don't want to put that aside.
Okay.
So why you dating?
You don't want to be married. That ain't married talk right there. Everything you saying is I want to be single. And I want this money and I want this job in my business more than I want you.
I don't think that we take the time to sit down and think about these things. You're saying like, I'm a boss. I make my own hours.
That's okay
I
too.
work a lot and everything. Yeah, that's
okay
that's
too.
perfectly fine. You can't be upset if the person you're with is feeling the type of way because you spend more time with the job than you do with them.
Yep.
And you're dating. You're not married. You're dating. It's like, what do you expect? Because I bet you if it was a dude, because dudes say this too, she be tripping, man, because, I got to work like 80 hours a week. And she'd be like, you don't have time for me, this, that, and the third, or whatever. It'd be the same thing. But it's just like, you got to get your priorities together. What do you want? And I actually started to have this conversation with my little cousin and my niece about whether or not you can be a boss babe and like have marriage and everything like that. Like basically do all these things or whatever. And I was trying to explain to them that no, you can't have it. Not at the same time. I'll put it to you like this. You can have it because it was like, well, why can't you have it all? You can, but not at the same time. Nope. Look at the blueprint for people who are successful that have done it. One of the people is Jay-Z and Beyonce, for example. Jay-Z and Beyonce was dating for however long they were dating. They both in the same industry, both busy, both have busy schedules, touring this, that, and the third on the top in their own respective lanes. And they were doing everything that they were doing while they were dating. But once they got married, once they had children, notice the slowdown. Yes, they were getting older, but it was a drastic decline because you cannot do all of that stuff at the same time. Nope. Because we're human and it's virtually impossible. Relationships take time and energy.
Well, you got that right.
You can't expect to build a strong relationship and a strong foundation if you're never there.
Nope.
Nor can you maintain it.
Exactly. Like if you're working 80 hours a week, you still got to sleep, you still got to eat, you still got to take care of yourself. You're not going to have sufficient time to build a strong foundation. And I wish that our young adults would get this early on, especially our women, our Black women, because I understand, I get it, why we've been put into the position that we've been put into where, yes, we have to go out there and work hard and get the bag for ourselves. I get it. That's not a problem. The problem is when we think that it's okay to be like, okay, well, I'm going to be a boss babe and he just has to get on my schedule.
What?
Nope.
No.
No.
It's just not realistic.
How does that even work?
That's a hot mess. All right, so look, I feel so bad for them because a lot of us have been lied to. We say that on this channel often.
We've been hoodwinked, bamboozled,
led astray,
Run amok and flat out deceived.
but it's just not something that you can do all at the same time. For all my Bible believers, we're going to go to the Bible corner. We're going to go here. We're going to talk to y'all. Those of y'all that really believe or at least will be willing to listen, because some of us claim Christianity, but we don't actually believe the Bible is suitable for instruction and reproof, which means we don't believe that the Bible is the thing that we should base how we move on. Here's the thing that a lot of people don't talk about, because there is a lot of shame about you ain't get married and you ain't do this and you ain't do that. There's no problem with you not getting married. As a matter of fact, people who don't get married get props from both Jesus and Paul.
Are you serious?
Yep.
They flat out be like, look, if you can do it, be single and just serve the Lord.
Yeah.
And not get your bag, but be single, serve the Lord, be on purpose, be useful to the community.
Yes.
They give you props for being able to just dedicate your life to doing that. But the thing is, if you do decide that you want to be married, here are the criteria.
Right.
You can't be submissive to your husband talking about he got to get on your time. I'm too busy for you.
How does that even work?
I'm going to keep on explaining it in all these videos so that everybody can get it. There's a hierarchy in marriage if you're a Christian based on the Bible. Not on my experience, not on my opinion, none of that, because I had to change the way our marriage rolled to be more in line with the Bible, because I believe the Bible is a final answer no matter what I feel. So this is something I had to change too. Husband under God, wife under the husband, kids under the wife. It's not about value, right? It's about hierarchy. Even in the Bible, Christ in certain instances would say, hey, me and the Father is in different spaces right now. Right now, I'm a little lower. Why? Because he humbled himself and put himself into a position where he had less power, where he was no longer omnipresent. And he had to be given as a sacrifice. He humbled himself from his position as God and allowed himself. He submitted to the will of the Father in his life as an example to how we supposed to do it. And in the marriage is supposed to be the setup, Jesus Christ in the church. The role of Jesus Christ is the way that the husband is supposed to be. So he's supposed to be sacrificing and loving the wife. And the wife is supposed to be respecting and submitting to the husband because the church respects and submits to Christ.
Right.
So whenever you think about how to handle situations in your marriage, if you're the wife, you should go, how would I direct this towards Jesus? If you would tell Jesus, you need to get on my program, I'm busy, I got to go to work.
I think there's something wrong with you.
Good luck.
If you don't change your perspective, hellfire welcometh thee.
Delusional.
Now he gonna give you chance after chance after chance after chance to get it right. But if you stick that out all the way until you die, it was nice knowing you. But that's not how that relationship dynamic works.
Let's see what they say.
All right, can we? I just a brief moment. Cause why not talk facts with you right quick? Let's talk some semi-statistical. I only say semi because I don't have it in front of me and I don't want to misquote things for you. Americans, okay, so this is larger than just black people, are getting married later. The reason this is happening is because homes are becoming harder to purchase.
Yes.
What it means to settle down is becoming harder to achieve.
Yep.
So when you look at who the onus is on to actually propose, to be settled, to be prepared to carry and sustain, it's on a man. You being young If a man is not able to get settled until later and later in life, we're talking about now at this point in the economy. And again, I haven't even talked about black people because it gets worse for us. Yep. I want you to know that this is an American problem. Okay. Most men are not able to now get settled in their lives financially until the late 30s to mid 40s.
But don't you think?
Hold on, sweetheart.
Okay.
With you being on your square financially young, you are not just outdoing men, you're outdoing most Americans. So the expectation that most of the men around your age are going to be financially settled enough to marry you, that part is unrealistic. Whether marriage is still achievable being real, bruh, hella people still want to get married. It's just harder to financially prepare for it. Don't hinge your hope on some like unrealistic idea that it's not good men out there. It's just you ahead of your time. And that comes with some shit. Sometimes it comes with being alone for a while.
Trill, what's up?
I appreciate the way how he
broke that down.
How he broke that down. Yeah.
I do have an issue with it, but
yeah, no.
He was 100% right. He was 100% right, but there's a tangent that I would go. So you go.
He is correct in what he's saying as far as it's becoming harder for Americans to be able to settle down as far as like being financially stable and purchasing a home and everything like that.
I'm just saying money don't grow on trees.
My only thing is when we do that, we tend to have a lot of issue. If we wait until we're financially set or stable to be able to get married, a lot of times that comes with a whole nother set of problems.
Like so many back then, they caused more problems than they solved.
While you've been on your square, as they say, while you've been grinding and getting your bag and everything like that, you haven't been single.
Hell no.
You know you've been in the walls. You know you've been in the walls. Stop lying to yourself. Lying to yourself.
Lying to yourself that the past held no sway over the future.
What he said, right? So it's like we're picking up all these bags, all this damage. We're picking up all this baggage on our journey to becoming like on our square. And then it's like, okay, we get to our square and it's like, okay, yeah, now I'm ready. I'm financially stable and I want to go ahead and I want to get married.
But you done had 13 bodies, and now you don't trust men. You think everybody cheating.
And now all men is trash. And guys are saying to women, ain't no good women out there, all women is trash. Because you've waited this long to get financially stable. What happened to the days where we do it together?
Remember the good old days?
Build together.
From nothing.
From nothing. Like we both, you have nothing, I have nothing. Let's put our nothing together and work it out until we get to our square together. You understand what I'm saying?
I need you guys to do me a favor. I need you to hit that like button. Mm-hmm. I need you to hit that subscribe button. Mm-hmm. I need you to hit that notification button. Mm-hmm. Hit all the buttons.
Yes.
Thank you. Check out how many people who are wildly successful to the extent that most people want to be successful, and take note of how many of them have been with their significant other that they've been with for a long time. So these ain't none of the young people, these are older people from the beginning, and how many of them met those people when they already arrived and then they stayed. The Jay-Z and Beyonce is very rare.
Yes.
Where you meet somebody after you've arrived and then y'all actually work. Y'all saw what happened there. That was very close to being a divorce.
Yeah.
For most people, it would have been a divorce, right? So you have to take into consideration when guys go through this process, they get to where they're going to be and they realize that the world is open up to them. They can have, so many different women. It's hard for them to settle down because now they have the pick of the litter, so to speak. And a lot of guys just decide to go and sample for the rest of their lives. A lot of them decide to be a serial monogamous, or they decide to be a future, a baby mama maker. You don't find a lot of people that have the LeBron and Savannah type situation.
Yeah.
But after he's already LeBron.
Right.
That happens when they together and they grind. Men bond with women who are there from the beginning. Men bond by going through trauma together. That's why guys in the army tend to be super close, no matter the big they can have crazy differences. One can come from a racist family and the other one can come from a black family down south. They could be the best of friends when they get in the army. Because, we done been through something together, bro. We survived together. You saved my life. When you get to those type of things, men bond over that. Women tend to bond more when it comes to physical intimacy. It's not 100 to 100. It's not like this is the blanket statement for all. There are exceptions, and then there's variation to how much each person individually bonds depending on what's happening. Women also bond by going through things with their man.
Right.
But men lean more into, we went through something together, now you my babe for life.
Right.
And women is more like, you hit the walls, you was all the way in the back of my neck, tapping my spine, and now I'm with you. It's different.
Why?
It's different. That being said, it don't mean men can't be whipped.
Yeah, that's true.
They can. But it's just different variations when you're talking about long term. Because being whipped doesn't last forever. And that's why a lot of times when you see people get together after they're already successful, they fall apart.
Yeah.
They don't usually last. Some of them do a good run, but then they eventually break up.
I was going to say, I don't know how many of you guys are familiar with Tabitha. Is that her name? Oh my gosh. I believe it's Tabitha. I feel bad because I really like her. She actually did not an interview, but on her podcast, because her and her husband have a podcast together. And I was watching a clip from it the other day, and they were talking about the fact that she didn't achieve her success until later in life, later in their marriage, because they've been together, I think, since like 19 or something like that. Because I think the question was, would you still be together now had you been successful earlier? And she flat out was like, no.
Wow.
Like real quick, no pause. She was like, had I had the success that she has now and the money and things of that nature, I wouldn't have stayed. Well, she was saying she can take care of herself because that was like a big thing. And she was like, real talk, like they went through periods where they was just like, they just stayed together because they had no choice financially. Like they couldn't afford to leave each other. Yeah. But during those times when they were basically going through that, it bonded them. Yeah. Now their relationship is stronger for that. Okay. So I think it's something to be said about building with someone and going through the trenches. Like you were saying, having to go through trauma. It's going to build a different type of relationship, I think, with that person versus you waiting until you've achieved all this. And now it's like, okay, I've got all this, now here, come. Right. The appreciation isn't the same. No. Because they didn't see you when you was on your mom's couch eating oodles noodles every day, you know what I'm saying? Or maybe you was at a friend's couch or something like that, or you were in your own apartment, but all you had was a beanbag.
I was broke and sharing a room with 12 people I didn't know.
They don't appreciate it because they didn't see the grind. Right. Yeah, I understand it's harder, but to me, if your end game goal is you want to be able to have a relationship and have family until you've arrived to the point where you feel as though, okay, now I'm financially stable for me to take on a spouse and have children and have family and things of that nature, I feel like you're playing with fire if you decide to wait until your late 30s or mid 40s to settle down.
I think that's part of the reason why people are getting married less is because they're making that mistake.
Yeah.
Just so y'all know, personal experience, when we first got married, we was actually homeless.
This is true.
It didn't really feel like that. No, our parents wouldn't have let us be on the street.
No.
But technically we were homeless. We didn't have any place to stay. We didn't know where we were going to stay. We didn't have an apartment. We didn't have a house. We didn't have none of that. We didn't have good jobs. We didn't have any of that. Part of the reason that I think that we're going to stick through until the end is because we going through that experience of building from there to now having a house, having a car. We got a pretty decent car too. Yeah. It's not fly. It's just decent. It's nice. It's a nice car. Got 2 kids that's out here doing stuff because we built all of this from being homeless and literally having nothing but the money from the wedding and a little bit of change in our savings account. Like we ain't had nothing. And that is the thing that bonds a lot of marriages, and a lot of people don't want to go through that. And you're not going to go through that if you're 35.
It's a very good point.
Right.
But if you're 23, you willing to go through that experience because you're not so messed up in the head that you're expecting stuff.
Right.
You just like, yo, I'm just happy that we finally together. You ain't got to go home tonight. Like we and her used to be sitting there like, oh my gosh, you don't have to leave. And we would be so excited laying on the floor.
On some blankets
because we ain't had no bed. We ain't had no couch. A lot of people are missing that experience because they're waiting so late. I wouldn't go through that at 35 either.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah, because you're like, I'm 35.
I'm too old for this. But
my back gonna start hurting.
Exactly. You can't. Because you're coming from that experience, the bond between you and your husband or wife is going to be a little bit weaker. All of these decisions we're making, they have consequences. I guess that could be my final point. You get married later. I want to have my money right first. All of that stuff is going to have consequences later on in life.
Yeah.
And they're not all going to be good if you want to get married. Now, if you don't want to get married, man, go ahead, get in your purpose and kick butt.
Yes, hell yeah.
Yeah.
That is encouraged biblically.
Yes.
Not if you fornicating though.
Nope.
If you fornicating, you need to get married and you have to allocate time to that person.
Yep.
I just hate how it's proposition like a woman who's out there independent, making her money, doing her thing, has to sacrifice so much to be in a relationship, when in reality, men have to sacrifice the same damn thing. Because if you think that that man's earning power when he with your ass compared to when he's single is the same, you are sadly mistaken. Because when a man is outside and we accomplishing what we accomplishing, we gotta be a wolf outside. We got to go out there and dominate. We can't be that when we walk in the house with you.
I didn't want to stop that, but according to the stats, married men make on average, this is not all married men, married men make on average 44% more than single men. That is one of the benefits to being married. Bruh. They say that the effects are causal. So having a wife and having kids puts you in a different mindset, and actually seeing them every day and having to go home every day makes you want to grind a little bit harder. And it also changes people's perception of you. So they look at you and they go, oh, this guy's married, he's more responsible, let's give him more responsibility. And with more responsibility in corporate America especially comes with more money.
Right.
So statistically, that's actually an incorrect statement. I understand why he says that, because it should be like that, because you got more time, more freedom.
But it ain't always the case.
Somehow it don't work out like that.
Yeah.
House with you, adaptations have to be made, right? So if adaptations have to be made on our side, adaptations should have to be made on your side to make the relationship work. And I don't feel like there's nothing wrong with that. But a lot of times women are proposition that like, hey, I got to give up so much to be in this relationship. We got to give up a lot too. But again, it's based on the union that we trying to build. And if the union that we trying to build is not that important to you, stay away from relationships, period.
Mike.
Or there's a third option.
Tell me.
And it includes no men. Can you believe
That's
it?
not racist.
Oh my God. Hold on though. Let me cook for a second. Yeah, let me cook. There's nothing wrong with the word independent.
She said her bull. I wanted y'all to hear this stuff. She just was on her independent kick, but that ain't got nothing to do with being successfully married.
No.
So, but this lady, she gave a good ending statement.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna take it back to what her question actually was. Okay. No offense. No, there's no offense to nobody. But I was trying to get on to the point of what you were talking about, okay? It's not an ego thing. It's really not. If you're in a dating process and marriage is something that you want, time is important. And the reason why it's so important is because it validates a person's presence in your life. Yeah. It validates their position in your life. So if you know you don't have...
Hello?
Yep. I wasn't going to. Yeah. I ain't going to say nothing.
Okay.
Don't have the time. If you know that because of work or whatever your career is, you won't have the time to give to that person, then it sends a message to them that they're not important, or that the relationship or the dating experience is not important. So if you know you don't have the time, take a break from it. But it is very important, if regardless of how much work you do, because I own 3 businesses and I don't care about those. I don't care about that. When it comes to my relationship, my man is going to get my time. He's going to get my time. Now, those things are still important, but we also have to understand that if we lose those things, what do we still have? If we lose those things, then we still have somebody that's there for us, somebody that's there to support us. So we do want to validate their presence in our life.
I needed to play that. Despite homegirl faces in the back, so people just don't get it.
Yeah, I was going to say one of the things that she said, which is key, and I hope that you ladies hear me when I say this. You hear what she said about validating a person's position in your life? Stop dating these men for 5, 6, 10 years. And you know you want to be married. Stop it. You're not doing yourself any favors. Nope. Because 9 out of 10 times, you're probably not going to end up getting married.
Ouch.
Or if you do finally get married, you will end up getting a divorce soon thereafter.
Ouch.
I'm pretty sure everybody's heard this term. Why buy the cow when you get the milk for free? Ladies, please stop.
Stop it.
Stop cheapening your value, because you're so much more than just being someone's girlfriend. If you're that important to this person, then let them make an honest woman out of you and marry you. Don't just be in that relationship just because maybe you're scared of being alone or you're scared of losing the person. In that particular instance, you do need to put yourself first, because you're not married. Even though you're acting like it, you're not married. So you do need to put yourself first in that regard and care more about yourself than the other person. No, let them be afraid of losing you. And if they lose you, oh well. that probably wasn't the person you were meant to be with in the first place.
Nope.
Especially if they just have you, you know, stringing you along and they know that you want marriage. Now, if you don't want marriage, and be honest, because a lot of people are like, oh, it don't really matter, and we're pretty much already married, and you know deep down inside that you feel away. Be honest with yourself.
Because you're just lying to yourself.
If you know that you truly want to be married and you were raised to know better and to do better, stop lying to yourself.
Just stop lying to yourself.
And stop lying to that man. Be honest about how you feel and make that ultimatum. If he really, truly loves, cares, and respects you, either he gonna man up and he gonna lock you down or he gonna let you go. Yep. Either way, at least you'll know and you'll be in a better position for it.
Now, for everybody arguing against marriage, marriage has a 50% divorce rate, but relationships outside of marriage, their rate of breakup, because it's not a divorce, is above 90%. Yeah. So for whatever reason, something clicks in our brain. I don't know if it's a societal thing. I don't know if it's everything all together, but we tend to stay together longer when we're married than when we're not. That is stats. It ain't got nothing to do with how I feel or what I think. Yep. And I just wanted to make sure I do put that out there.
And if you guys made it this far in the video, go ahead and smash that subscribe button. Go ahead and put on the post notifications. And is that it?
Like, comment, subscribe. Anyway,
make do all of that.
Do all of the good stuff.
Like, comment, share, subscribe. Yeah. Okay, turn on post notifications. Send a smoke screen, smoke signal. All right, send it. Share it with your mama. Share it with your cousin, with your grandma, your friends, family. Share it with everybody.
Okay, we doing too much.
All right, sorry.
All right, y'all.
Hey, everybody. Down in the description, there are 2 links.
One is to a GoFundMe, and the other one is to a video that explains what the GoFundMe is for. Long story short, we have a medical situation with our daughter that we have to pay for everything out of pocket, and we can really use you guys' help. If you have the time, we'd love for you to go check it out. If you have the money, the funds, we'd love for you guys to help. If not, maybe you could send a link to somebody else who can help. We thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Press the off button.